Welcome to this week's episode. My bad. Welcome to this week's episode of Those Two Guys Talk Disney. I'm Justin Vaughn, joined again by Jay Gibson.
What up?
Sorry about that beginning there. I hit the button and then it took a second to start recording, and I didn't realize it started my intro before it started actually going.
That's funny.
So on this week's episode, we're actually going to talk about the Disney Plus movie Noelle, which actually was very hard to find deep information about this movie.
Yeah.
Because it didn't list it in the Wikipedia, it didn't list it in the IMDb, it didn't list like half the stuff in anything I actually read about the movie. I had to like actually deep dive for some of this stuff. Like where it was filmed, how much it was supposed, how much was the budget. Like, it didn't give us any of that information, which is weird.
Yeah.
I figured it would. So let's dive into this movie.
All right, well, the synopsis that I have is Kris Kringle's daughter, Noelle, is full of Christmas spirit, but wishes she could do something important, like her brother Nick, who will take over for their father this Christmas when Nick is about to crumble like a gingerbread cookie. From all the pressure, Noelle suggests he take a break and get away, but when he doesn't return, Noelle must find her brother and bring him back in time to save Christmas.
Alright, so the ratings of this movie are on IMDb. It is 6.3 out of 10, which again is not a bad rating.
Rotten Tomatoes only got 55%.
Mine says 56.
I got 55. I found 55%.
So, still, 1% off. There's not much difference. Metacritic was 48%. I also read in the Wikipedia, it actually talks about like the different critics. They had like a bunch listed. And this movie actually got kind of mixed reviews. So some of them said it just wasn't the best best story. Sometimes it kind of drags. I don't really think it does. I think it's.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty.
Speed.
I thought it was pretty.
I actually
fun.
like this movie. So,
yeah.
It was actually filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Yep.
In Gastown, the St. James Music Academy, and Whistler's Olympic Park.
Yeah, it was later moved to Whistler's Park in early January of 2018.
Phoenix, Arizona, the Desert Ridge Marketplace, the Desert Botanical Garden, and downtown Phoenix.
The exterior of the shelter in Phoenix was St. James Anglican Church, which was pretty cool.
The mall where they crashed the sleigh is actually a mall in Woodstock, Georgia. And also the Grand Canyon National Park is when Noelle and Polly fly the sleigh into the Grand Canyon. So that's all the places that was actually filmed.
It actually stars Anna Kendrick as Noelle, Bill Hader as her brother Nick.
Which, by the way, I think those two did phenomenal.
It also has Kingsley Benadir, Billy Etcher, Julie Haggerty, and Shirley MacLaine.
Okay, Kingsley is Jake Hatman. The kid that is Macchio Smeldley is Alex Hatman. Two important characters, man. We gotta list them. Julie Haggerty is Mrs. Claus. Billy whatever is Gabriel Kringle, their cousin. And Shirley MacLaine is Elf Polly.
Yeah.
Again, those are all the really main
Aunt Polly.
Yeah, those are all really. To be fair, dude, she really is like an aunt.
Yeah, she was Noelle's
caregiver,
nanny type.
Yeah, she was her nanny elf. But she's actually Elf Polly. So you actually start this movie. Again, I actually really like this movie. My kids actually really like this movie. So I don't understand why the critics rated it so bad. A critic from Ebert, his website he has now, the old critic, actually gave it 3 out of 4 stars, so pretty good rating. But you start the movie, it's Christmas Eve, and Santa comes down the chimney to his children.
Well, in his own house, but you don't realize that yet. All you see, like, this little girl kind of trying to creep around, trying to peek, trying to catch Santa. And he's eating some cookies and drinking some milk. And then she jumps out, gotcha! And then you find out It's actually his daughter. He's in his own home.
You know what though, man? I like that he tried to keep it. He tried to give them the Santa experience too.
Yep.
Which is that's a nice thing for a dad to do.
Awesome.
Especially having the fact that they live in the North Pole. So he still tries to give them that Christmas experience.
Apparently, Noelle is really into making Christmas cards.
Yeah.
She makes a lot of Christmas cards, spreads the Christmas cheer.
Well, her dad gives her a gift, which I can't remember what it is now.
Magazines.
Oh yeah, from his travels.
Yeah.
And then he gives her brother the Santa hat.
Yep.
And says that it'll fit him when the time is right.
Yep.
Well then,
it'll fit you when you're ready.
Yeah. So then it jumps forward in time because, well, you have to.
Yeah.
And now they're grown. And she opens her window and tries to, like, sing out her window to her personal reindeer.
And you find out that their dad has passed.
Yeah. So her brother's training to become Santa Claus. He has a year to get ready.
Which he does not really want to be Santa Claus.
And he doesn't understand. Which you start seeing glimpses that she actually has the power.
The gift.
And that her brother really doesn't.
Yeah.
But they're like trying to really force it on him because only a male can be Santa.
She has the twinkle.
Yeah.
What they call it.
But only a male can be Santa? But where does it say only a male can be Santa?
You find out later it doesn't. It's just they've always followed that. This is something they've always done for many, many years.
Because they're old fat. There's just a bunch of old elves on the council.
You find out later that the head council guy actually looks into it, and there is no rule that says a girl can't be Santa. It's just something they've always done.
Well, and just like the synopsis says, with her brother like crumbling under the pressure, he can't fly the reindeer. He keeps wrecking every time he does.
He can't do the open the chimney so he can go down it.
Yeah. So she tries to inspire him with her Christmas cheer because that's what her dad tells her. You gotta give your brother this Christmas cheer. And so she tries to do her job and she tries to give him that Christmas cheer. The whole time, Nick's literally saying, "I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I can't do this."
And, I really kind of can't blame him. There's a lot of pressure that's being put on him all of a sudden. Now that his dad's gone, he's got to fill these shoes and. He's expected to do this, and all being thrown at him at once. He's just like, he never really wanted that responsibility.
Well, and that's the thing, is he just keeps telling him, I can't. I don't have this gift. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And nobody's listening to him.
Except for Noelle, and Noelle's finally just told him, she's like, why don't you get away? Go get
a
away for the
break.
weekend. Get away for the weekend. You'll catch your breath.
Literally tells him, just get away for the weekend. He flies to Phoenix, Arizona, and then decides he ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Sends the slave and the reindeer back.
Yeah.
So then, naturally, because she's the one that told him to get away, she's got to go get him.
And everybody gets mad at her.
For ruining Christmas.
Yeah.
So she goes to look for her brother.
And, of course, she's never been out of the North Pole.
Ever.
So she has no idea about anything out in the real world.
So Polly goes with her.
Yeah.
But she leaves Snowflake, her personal reindeer, because he's a baby. And doesn't quite know how to fly yet. But she leaves him behind. Takes all the other reindeer. She wrecks the sleigh. That's the marketplace that you actually see her wrecking to. Convinces the lady running that mall that it's a good idea.
Mind you, they're bundled up to the T like it's negative friggin' 20 degrees outside.
Until they get to Phoenix and it's like, oh my god, it's so hot.
And she's still wearing it, and you can just see her like turn red and start sweating, and she's still wearing her hat and her gloves and all bundled up, and it's like, she's going to overheating that thing. It's just like, well, take them right off.
So they decide they convince the lady that runs that mall that this is a good idea to have the reindeer here And it's the ladies against it right up until the guy walks in and says, "Oh my God, we're selling so much birdseed." Then it clicks.
And
Okay,
Noelle's
this
like,
may
the
be a
reindeer
good
love
thing.
it, you know. And then maybe you should just call it reindeer food. And people feed it to the reindeer.
Which is genius.
And you kind of find out that she has a crush on this guy that runs the I guess, the pet store.
I think he actually has a crush on her.
No, she
a little
does.
bit. I know.
She has a crush on him, and you can tell it. She, more and more as it goes. I think he likes her too, but, you know, neither one of them really are too afraid to say anything. And Noelle just kind of helps it along the entire time.
Yeah. So they get the gig basically for having the reindeer there. Basically, she's paying them to let them be there, which is great because they need money.
Meanwhile, her and Paul are just sleeping in the sleigh.
Yeah, well, then they got to figure out where her brother is, so she decides to hire a private investigator.
Well, she goes walking around. I think first. I was
Yeah.
looking that she sees something about on a billboard or something about a private detective or something.
But she decides to go hire this guy. This guy does find her brother.
She starts.
But she tries to pay him in gold coins.
Well, he like leaving his office or whatever. His phone is dead. He can't call. Supposed to call his son or whatever. And she's like, "Why don't you just ask somebody to use their phone?" And he's like, he tries to, "Oh, ain't nobody nice. Nobody's nice these days. Ain't nobody gonna use their phone." And she looks around. There's some guy over by his car. She goes, "Ask him. He's really nice."
Because she knows.
So then she just takes off and walks over and asks him, and he's like, "Yeah, sure." Because she has the twinkle. She just doesn't know it yet. She's not sure that's what's happening.
But he lets him use his phone. He calls his son, lets his son know what's going on.
And he's on his way.
She tries to pay him in gold coins, which are chocolate coins.
The chocolate coins.
And he said, no, I need money. But he does find her brother for her, or find her brother for her. But he's like, well, let's check these places first. And so it's like the homeless shelters and...
Well, before all that, like the next day, she's at his house and his son's there. Like,
talking about how bad the food is.
yeah, like his dad made breakfast and his son just kind of sitting there, like, pushing it around, like... And she's like, what you gonna eat it? He's like, I can't eat it. It's terrible. So then she, like, dumps it in, like, her purse or whatever for him when dad's not looking.
Because she goes, no, it can't be that bad. And she tries it.
Like,
and
like, dumps it in the bag. And he's like, all right, let's go find your brother. And then that's when they start walking around and checking places.
But then she actually runs into a homeless mom with her deaf
daughter.
daughter.
Go to the store, she, like, climbs in the, like, frozen cooler thing. And somebody comes up and wants some ice cream, and she just hands it out to him. She makes a comment about one Santa Claus from the shorts. You're a disgrace to the uniform. Put the pants on.
But like I said, one of the homeless shelters they checked, she actually runs into a homeless mom with her deaf daughter. Yeah. And her she actually starts like signing to
she starts
the deaf
to talk
daughter.
to her, and the mom's like, she can't hear you, she's deaf. Or she can't hear you. And so she starts like trying to yell. And she's like, oh no, she's deaf.
And then she actually starts signing.
Yeah.
Because she can understand.
And the mom's like,
any
you know
language.
sign language? And she's like, no. I don't. Yeah, she was signing the whole time.
And then, of course, she finds out the girl just...
She asks her what she wants for Christmas, and the girl tells her, wants her
just
mom
wants
to find a job.
yeah. Job for her mom.
And then she gets ready to walk away, she's like, and an iPod.
And an iPad.
And an iPad.
Everybody wants an iPad. Which is the joke. Because literally everybody just wants an iPad.
Tells you when that movie came out that the iPad must have been real big. It must have been the year the iPad was real big.
Well, then, meanwhile, while they're all doing this at the North Pole, everybody's freaking out, thinking they gotta figure out new Santa Claus. They say Gabriel's gonna be Santa Claus.
Because it's gonna be the new Santa Claus.
And you find out he's just a tech guy.
Well, he's trying to make everything make everything done by technology. He wants to get rid of the elves and
He wants to do everything by technology. No more naughty, nice list.
and
You put in the kid, and it'll run an algorithm on everything he's done for the year, and the computer will decide whether he's naughty or nice.
and instead of and they're like, "What are you gonna do without the slaves?" Like, we'll deliver everything by drones and
Yeah.
or whatever. It's just crazy what he tries to do. It's insane. And then he comes back and tells them there's only like 2,000 nice kids or something in the entire world or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like it's some insanely low number.
And then actually emails all the kids.
Yeah, it says all the naughty kids. Emails all the naughty kids a letter saying, sorry, something, you've been naughty this year. You'll be reevaluated for next year or something like that.
Yeah.
Along them lines. Like, he just tries to go all insane with it. It's not the way it's supposed to be done by any means.
But they actually do. He does eventually find her brother. And she talks to her brother. And her brother's telling her, I don't want to go back. I'm actually happy here.
He's running a yoga studio.
And, of course, she doesn't understand. Now she's got to go back and explain what happened. But in the meantime...
When she goes back to Paula, to the sleigh, that's when her radio shows up with a letter from her mom saying what Gabriel's doing in North Pole.
So then she actually confronts her brother, saying, you have to come back.
And she tells Private Eye's son that he's going to get what he wants for Christmas. And he never tells her what he wants for Christmas. She just somehow knows.
Yeah.
This is insane.
And she actually tells the Private Eye, hey, you should do this. This is what he really wants for Christmas.
Yeah.
And he does the bogus thing, man. He actually gets her checked into the psych ward.
Well, no, he doesn't.
Well, that's when she was arrested.
He just like, look, you need to be honest with me, blah blah blah. So then she, tried to tell him like she's the daughter of Santa Claus, and that really is, Santa's sleigh and reindeer. Blah blah blah. And he just walks away and doesn't believe her, and takes off. Well, then when she goes after she gets the letter, she has Snowflake sniff out her brother to go find her brother, and she's up at that like silent retreat or whatever, and then she leaves the letter there or whatever, and then he shows up, and then she puts him in a Santa suit.
Yeah.
And tries to give him see, look, you can do this, and then the cops show up or whatever because the other Santa Claus shows up that's supposed to be there, and they get a big old fight, and then the cops come behind her. She kicks the cop. Well, because she's trying to tell them she's Santa Claus' daughter enough, they think she's cuckoo. Put her in the house.
Yeah. So then they gotta break her out of there.
And then Aunt Paula, Paula goes to the Private Eye and starts talking to him, and then shows her ear, and shows that she really is an elf, that she wasn't lying to him this entire time. So then he helps her break her out of the house.
And she gets back. All three of them get back up to the North Pole, and like Nick's still telling everybody, "Hey, I should not be Santa Claus. It should be Noelle."
But he goes up in front of me. He goes, "I didn't know how do you word it. I didn't know how to be Santa Claus or whatever, but we do have a Santa. It's Noelle, my sister Noelle.
She has the twinkle."
And I was like, oh, it can't be a girl, it's gotta be a guy. And then that's when the head elf dude up there in the council was like, actually, I went back through it, and there's nothing that says a girl can't be Santa. He's like, it's just something we've always followed.
Well, because it's Saint Nick.
But it's funny because like when it panned back up there, like the other, like the singing elves that were up there, it's like everybody just kind of sprawled out, just kind of laying around. And the little elves are singing, "Where are you, Santa?" or whatever they're singing. Like it's some depressing Christmas song.
And
of course, when they ask Noelle what she thinks it means to be Santa or whatever, or what Christmas means. So then she gives her explanation, and then bam! Guess what? She's Santa Claus now.
But the suit's huge on her.
Yeah. She goes walking out there just massive.
Because it will fit her when she's
and
actually
that's what
ready.
her mom told her. She said, remember what your dad said. The suit will fit you when you're ready.
And so she's actually delivering toys in this giant suit.
Trying to deliver in this giant suit, which is insane.
And then after she delivers that
though.
homeless shelter.
I like it, though, when they get everything loaded in the sleigh. She does the whole, to call a snowflake. He doesn't come, and she's like, dude, this is supposed to be your moment. It makes him the head reindeer on her sleigh.
Which, to be fair, wouldn't you? Because she walked him around like a dog.
He's like so tiny compared to the other reindeer. He starts trying to go and ain't none of it moving. Finally, they're all like, do the whole stomping thing.
And then collect her antlers.
Yep, and off she goes. Like I said, she ends up at that.
But that's when her suit actually fits her. Is after she goes to the homeless shelter.
And she's accidentally waking everybody up.
She actually tells her, that little girl, your mom, you're gonna get exactly what you wish for. And her mom finds out her mom actually does get a job.
And she's like, shh. And they're like, Merry Christmas. The girl's like, Merry Christmas, Santa. And she's like, you think I'm Santa? And then all of them in there, Merry Christmas, Santa. Merry Christmas, Santa. Merry Christmas, Santa. It's like, go sleep.
But then as she's walking away, the suit just kind of
and you see her, like, outside in like the hallway or whatever, and all of a sudden just... And then she went back, revisiting places that she apparently missed.
And she is right. Alex did get what he wanted.
And then the last thing you see her do before she goes back to her pole is she goes and picks up the private eye, flying him in the sleigh to his son's house.
And then tells him, make new traditions.
And then just leaves him on the roof. Another, like, how do you get down? Because the next thing you see him down in the driveway, and his son's wondering, like, how do you get off that roof?
Well, but she also gives she really keeps up with that kid. When the kid's really into cooking...
Why didn't she just land in the driveway?
When the kid's really into cooking, she gets him everything to do with cooking. When he starts to be getting into music, she gets him a drum set.
Yeah, when it shows, like, it flashes to the next year and she's getting ready to go and all his Christmas cards up on her dash and the sleigh. She's like, all right, he's no longer into cooking, he's into music. Get the whatever cooking thing's out, drum set's in.
Like, that's actually, she really good. She does make a really good Santa Claus. Like, she understands exactly what every kid wants. And
she made Paula like the head council.
Yeah, she did. Which, to be fair, like, that lady's been through hell and back.
Of course, Gabriel's still tech.
Yeah, he's still the tech guy, but his hair and beard's still gray.
And now her brother actually run the yoga thing up there in the North Pole now,
which does make sense. Sorry, I'm getting a couple messages here.
Yeah, like her brother didn't get the gift; she got the gift. Where she could look at it like when she has him playing Santa in that mall, and each kid like she was like he's saying this or he wants it, and he's like how'd you know that? Like she was able to understand each language, she knew what they wanted. And then the one kid says iPad in like a foreign language. He's like iPad. He's like, I understood that one. That was pretty obvious. That's when he realized that she had the gift because she was like knowing all this stuff, and he was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because she's the one that inherited it, not him.
But yeah, overall, this movie ain't super long. So it seems like our talk here is actually a little bit less. It's because the movie's not super long.
It really not, no.
It's what, just over an hour?
Yeah, something like that.
If we ran through every single little thing that happened, like she beats that crap out of a few cops, which is what winds her up getting locked up.
She said, well, it's not illegal from where I'm from because we have no cops.
Yeah. Or like where she eats the sunscreen. Doesn't realize you gotta put it on yourself.
Yeah.
Which if she read the container, it says it.
And then she like just puts it, squirts it on her. He's like, you gotta rub it in.
That's what he does it for.
It really is. It's just a fun movie. I really liked it. Enjoyed it a lot.
I did too. It is a fun movie, and I did actually find out that there was a reason she actually played in this movie. It's because she wanted to play in a holiday movie that families could rewatch. I think this one is rewatchable.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Now the budget for this movie is not super big. The budget's only like $20 million, which I don't know why I didn't put it in my notes, but apparently I didn't put it in my notes. But it's only like 20 mil. So the budget's not huge. But it was actually supposed to be released in theaters, and Disney pulled it and said, no, we're just going to release it on our streamer. Which makes sense because at the time the streamer was kind of new. So they're just trying to put out original content.
It's not like it's an overly long movie either, so it kind of, I think it worked out better that way.
Yeah. And I don't think, I mean, in reality, dude, it's one you can easily find. Like, I literally just turn on my Disney Plus right now and Noelle pops up, the Santa Claus pops up, Home Alone, Nightmare Before Christmas, unfortunately, because...
Well, then you get all the... If you have the bundle like I do, you get all the Hulu Christmas ones that pop up in there too.
Me too. I got the bundle with Hulu and HBO Max.
Mine's just a Disney Hulu bundle.
I paid the $30, dude. I get Max too.
Well, I have HBO Max separately already. I had that already, so I was like, when I went to redo my Disney after I got back out of the hospital and was getting all my bills back in order, I just went ahead and made it a Disney Hulu bundle. That way I wouldn't have to rely on my sister's Hulu all the time. So. And I already had Max. I'm like, I don't need the Max bundle with Max because I already have HBO Max. So I'm like, I'll just do the Hulu Disney.
Well, I did not have Max. That's why mine's...
And I didn't want the one with the ESPN bundled into it either. I'm like, I don't need all that.
Oh, well, now it's just on Disney Plus altogether. They just got rid of that app. It's weird.
I don't need all that.
So, again, the next 2 weeks we will be doing Christmas movies. Just till the end of December. Once we're out of December, then we're going to go back to just random movies. And I'm still going to try to keep... I would like to try to keep at least one DCOM a month. Because I got plenty to choose from.
Oh, yeah.
And one older movie, at least. So I don't want to do all brand new movies. And if we can work it in, a series. At least a season of a series. That way we're covering their series too.
Right. Sounds good to me.
Because before we really wanted to cover The Mandalorian on our other podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out, the Creeptastic Nerds on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and pretty much anywhere you can get your podcast. Give that a little plug.
Heck yeah.
But check that one out.
Yeah, because we could definitely cover the Percy Jackson.
Well, we did on here.
Did we do it?
But check it on Spotify because it's not on YouTube.
I can't remember if we did or not when it first came out.
We did. We waited till all episodes aired and then we covered it.
I'm hoping to do some more episodes.
They are supposed to come out to season 2. I will see. But check us out on Spotify because it is on Spotify. It's not on YouTube. It is on the Percy Jackson and Wonka. Because there was the first 2 we covered. Because we weren't narrowed down to Disney at the time when we first started this one. But we wanted to cover The Mandalorian on our last one where we actually covered Star Wars episodes 1, 2, 3. And we never covered any of the other ones. And we really wanted to cover The Mandalorian, but we were trying to cover it in order. So, I'm pretty sure it's between, 6 and 7? I think that's where it falls. I think that's where it falls because Luke Skywalker's in it. So I think that's where it falls. So we're trying to cover it in between there, but we can never get our other co-hosts to actually watch the movies so we can cover the movies. However, now that they do belong to Disney, we can cover them on here. so we can actually get to the Mandalorian
Well,
now.
now they also just came out with the Wizards Beyond Waverly Place too.
Yes. But first we got to cover Wizards Waverly Place.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
But yeah, we want to cover at least one DCOM, one older movie, and we're going to try to cover one series a month. We'll see if we get there. At least a season of the series. Because we can break that down for however many months we need to cover the series itself.
Right.
Including Boy Meets World. Even though technically it wasn't a Disney production at first. It actually belonged to ABC. Still a Disney property now. So we cover it.
Well, and it was filmed on Disney. It was filmed in Disney Studios at one point in time.
Yeah.
But obviously I listen to the podcast.
I do too.
And they talk about a lot how they, because like the guy that played Harley Kiner when he was first on it before he had to leave the show, they were filming in Disney Studios.
Yeah. So, but that's my point though. Now that Disney owns it, no reason we can't cover it. We both like that.
Oh yeah.
We both are fans of Pod Meets World.
Oh yeah.
So
I definitely want to get some Pod Meets World merch.
I do too. Like Hold the Plane from Incus.
I don't think you can get that one up.
I don't think you can anymore either.
Time thing.
But
they always have different ones, I'm sure. You got to check the. Yeah, merch.
But we just that's kind of what we it's kind of the way we want to do it. I think definitely one DCOM, one older movie, and then 1 month we will do nothing but sequels. I know there's way more than 4 sequels, but at least 1 month, maybe 2. What do you think of that, Jay?
Sounds good to me.
That'd be in the new year. Our last episode of the year, we will actually have a little bit longer outro talking about everything that's happened throughout the year for us. And then we'll, that'd be our year end thing that we actually did with our other podcast where our last episode was just what we talked about or just covering the year.
You can get a weenie pin, a principal weenie pin. That's awesome.
So we'll probably still do that to an extent, but still cover a movie. I'm not sure what the next 2 is. I know I do want to cover Home Alone. I think I can wait on A Nightmare Before Christmas until next year, to be honest with you. I'd like doing one old Christmas movie, one newer Christmas movie. I kind of like that idea. So I would say let's do Home Alone 1, obviously, and Dashing Through the Snow. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but it's a Disney Plus original, and it stars Ludacris.
Yes, I've seen it. I actually just watched Home Alone the other day.
And it's hilarious. Which is why I'm saying, hey, let's cover those 2 movies.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Again, that's a little bit older.
Too much shit.
And it just kind of allows us to spread it out a little bit more. We're not covering all new or all old kind of thing. And since we are doing 2 90s Christmas movies, I'd like to do 2, well, I guess Noelle's 2019. The other one will be 2022, 2023, something like that. I don't know when Dashing Through the Snow came out.
Exactly when it came out.
But yeah, that'll be our next 2 then. Because Jay's cool with it, I'm cool with that. And
I'm done with it.
Obviously, we'll prepare like we always do for these.
I can't.
Any Christmas wish, Jay?
What?
Any Christmas wishes?
I'm just glad to be here. After what I went through, I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, we're all glad you're here, Jay.
Ooh, that was rough.
I do know what I'm getting Jay for Christmas. More than likely, I don't know if he'll actually bring it up here or if he'll just keep it down in his room. Either way, it's gonna be something he actually wanted.
I want to get that thing I bought at Comic-Con that has look like the old Turtle Nintendo cartridges.
Yeah.
Thing I bought. I want to get it hung up in here eventually.
That would be awesome.
Like go up, they can fit up there or above the door, I think, or where because it's not like It's kind
The
of...
only thing is if we go up, do we need a drill, and we need to drill into the wall, and then we need to put a masonry bit or a masonry anchor in, because that's where we screwed up on the other stuff, on why we're having so much issues, because these are brick walls, so we gotta have a masonry bit and drill into the masonry.
Yeah, I know, that's why that picture frame is broken.
Yeah,
It fell off, cracked in one corner, broken in one corner. And that came from Comic-Con as well.
but that's why we're having so much issues. I definitely like your Ninja Turtle picture that you have, because that's pretty awesome.
That was cool.
Which, unfortunately, we had to call our other podcast host over here and had to have him clear out his Funkos out of here because we were having a little bit of an issue. Nothing's going to hurt our equipment. Decoration's a possibility. So we're like, hey, you may want to go pull your Funkos out because he spent a lot in Funkos. Like, he had like $600 something just in this room alone. And we just didn't want it. We didn't want to be responsible for his stuff getting ruined. So we're like, hey, you may want to go pull those. So he came over and pulled them. So our shelves got a little bit emptier and we just spread our stuff out a little more. So it didn't look as empty. But now it doesn't also look as cluttered.
Yeah.
So there's a plus. But yeah, give us a follow. Kind of let anybody know. You can email us, those two guys, podcast1 at gmail.com. I actually have access to that email. Unfortunately, I can't give it to Jay because it won't let me. Or you can comment on our YouTube video or Spotify videos. We both get those comments. I mean, it just is what it is. We both will get those comments, so you guys are more than welcome to message us. Or you can even message us on Facebook. Give us a follow on Facebook, you guys.
Yes, please.
We actually do have a Facebook page. Those two guys talk Disney. We do actually have a Facebook page. My wife is also included on the Facebook page because she is one hell of a researcher for us. It is thanks to her that we got the Thanksgiving Promise.
Yeah.
When we're just not sure what we want to cover, she actually helps us come up with ideas. If we want to do some like random obscure movie, but we don't know what it is, we give her a theme for the movie, tell her what we kind of need, she will find that movie for us.
Yep.
Like I said, if we just can't come up with an idea, she actually throws some suggestions out to us. So she actually does help us quite a bit with this. She's not on camera, but I gotta give her some love on it because she really does help us. The Thanksgiving Promise, like, we legitimately were like, I don't know any Disney movies that are Thanksgiving movies. I don't know any. We actually asked, well, Jay's parents, my mom's gone, and I don't talk to my dad, so, but we actually asked his parents, do you know any Thanksgiving Disney movies? Both of them. No, I don't think so. I don't think I've heard of any. When we brought up to his mom, oh my God, Beth found the Thanksgiving Promise. His mom goes, I've never heard of that movie, but watched it.
I've never heard of it, that's for sure.
It's just one of those things, like, that's what I mean, like, that's why we gotta show her some love. Because she does help us. And she will actually sit and watch the movies with me, and she'll actually give me her opinion on the movie. So then I kind of add that into my notes if I can. So she will actually sit there and watch any of these movies with me if I give her enough advance notice on what we're watching.
Right.
That's kind of the problem. If I don't give her enough advance notice, she can't watch it with me. But yeah, we're going to keep coming back every week with this. We're going to, even if we're late, we will still be back every single week. This is going to post on like Saturday instead of, Tuesday this week.
Unfortunately.
But we're getting closer. That's the main thing. We're getting better about our schedule. I would like to try to get like 6 of them in the can so that if there's a week that we can't meet, hey, no big deal. we have some in there.
Right.
We're like 6 ahead. We're good. We can skip a week if we need to.
Yeah.
But we'll be back with you guys next week with Home Alone.
Catch you on the flip side.